Look, brothers and sisters, the greatness of God is part of the thing that makes us so dissatisfied with government. You're yearning for something that the government can't give you. You are born to be free. The Muslim program says we want freedom. We want a full and complete freedom. That's not just what Muslims want. That's what every human being wants. But how will you define a full freedom and a complete freedom? If I'm a seed and I'm 50 years old and I'm still a seed, have never been planted in the right environment to develop myself, then I don't have freedom. But when I'm free and fully developed, then I have attained a full and complete freedom. Yes, sir. Can this house give you that? Come on. Well, you don't have it. So what are we petitioning this for? They can't give you what's not in their nature to give you. We just making a demand because it's right to do it, but we know they can't do it. Oh, wait a minute, Farrakhan, why can't they? Let me show you why. The other day, for the first time, I said, let me go out and visit all the monuments that are on this mall where we as a people will be standing. And I quietly, as quiet as I could, slipped into the Jefferson Memorial. And I stood there looking at a 19-foot statue of a great American. Now, this mall is hallowed ground for us, but it's also sacred ground for those who love America. And Thomas Jefferson was one of the most brilliant of the founding fathers of this country. If you read his words, I'm going to read a few, just to let you see that he was not a Christian. He never said he was, but he certainly was what they call a deist. He believed in one God. Now look at this. He said, on the wall, he was talking about justice. And he was talking about slavery. I want to give you a little study assignment. Yes, sir. There were some things when he wrote the Declaration of Independence that they took out because he was dealing with King George as a vile man because he trafficked in black bodies, bringing them to America, I want you to go read his words, because Thomas Jefferson knew that if the slaves were not set free, one day what King George did by bringing us into slavery would cause the slave to rise and fight against those who were holding us in slavery. We have really come to that point now. Did you hear me? See, this thing has reached the point of explosion. Black people that are here, even those in high places, are saying, we can't take this much longer. There's like a volcanic eruption that's coming now. You know, they say volcanoes are birthed out of magma, that is molten rock with gases, and this molten rock and the gases at the bottom, then you have an upper crust that begins to come down and meet the molten rock beneath. I said, isn't that an interesting picture? Because I hear you that are in the middle class crying out. Ain't too many middle class people here, but even if you were, you crying. Because the middle class is becoming the new poor. So that's the upper crust coming down to meet the magma below. It's bubbling now. And gases are coming up. And you see dust coming up from the sleeping volcano that has been asleep so long you play around it like it don't have power to kill you. You play with the lives of poor people, indigenous people, black people, women. You play with the lives of soldiers who have given their lives on a foreign battlefield only to come home and be rejected and die while they're waiting for treatment and service. Why are you saying this in front of the Capitol, Brother Farrakhan? I want to show the world hypocritical America that is telling everybody that they're violating human rights, while in America there's all this dissatisfaction. I think, Mr. President, we ought to be quiet, telling China, you got to straighten out your human rights violations. Going down to Cuba, yeah, well, we're going to have relations with you, but your human rights violations. See, as though you don't have no problem in America. We're trying to show the world these are problems here. And these problems demand resolution. And America don't have the heart to do it. Thomas Jefferson gave some brilliant remarks about freedom and trembling for America when he reflected that God is just and that his justice would not sleep forever. And then Thomas Jefferson with others fashioned the seal of this nation. And at first, the seal reflected the wrath of God in a light from above. And Pharaoh's army below. That the wrath of God, he was saying in the seal, would come down on America if America would not free the slave. He knew it should be done. So Thomas Jefferson said, we need to let the slave go. We need to give them a good send-off. We need to give them land. We need to give them machinery. We need to give them seeds to plant crops. We need to teach them the science of warfare, that they would be able to defend the land that they would be given. This is Thomas Jefferson. But he couldn't force it. There are good white people who want to see you free, but the politics of the situation will not allow it to happen. I don't care nothing about what the politicians are saying. Yeah, we think you all should, have some freedom.